hour after the live. I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Please take a moment, just hit that like button as some important developments have happened in regards to if you're a holder of XRP. We're going to see just how true some of this news is and see exactly the implications for us. As I've been reading more of the headlines now and reading through more of the articles, seeing that the AMM amendment passed, and that's been trying to be done for quite some time, as in regards for the XRP ledger, because it would allow you to earn passive income just by holding XRP on the ledger. But we'll see exactly what that's all about. See if it's actually, something that's, it's actually a big development here. Because to me, it feels like a big development, but, I'm all for waiting for some of the news to kind of cycle before I get excited about something. So we'll see. I know it's something that's been in the works for some time. We'll also take a look at the XRP charts because I do believe that XRP, it came down to the descending triangle support beautifully and hit it on a bottom. And I'll show you why it looks like we've hit our third tap of support. Now, it doesn't have to happen, but most typically you would hit a third line of resistance as well if you're going to confirm the formation. And then you can go ahead if you're going to break down and then hit the 44-cent rising channel area from June of 2022 if that's the agenda at hand. Or you can find out if you're not bearish still, and you could break over that resistance and start pushing up and out. But we won't know until we start seeing some of these areas hit. The first line we could hit, really, is that 534, 53.4 cents, which is a pivot level that we know if it's below it, it can have big drops. If it's above it, it can have quick rises. And we've seen it play out both ways here in the last few weeks. So, or a few months as well. So, I'm going to do the intro and then I'm going to turn on the comments. I do thank everybody who's tuning in. I thank everybody who continues to stay patient and continues to stay loyal, not just to me, but to XRP to some extent, but also the ISO tokens, the Internet of Things, the IoT, crypto as a whole, and also precious metals and understanding, what you can do within the sphere as well to try to accommodate your goals here going forward. So, good evening. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, February 1st, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I don't know what it is the last couple days, but I really feel like things are kind of falling into place here the way I want to present this. And I know a lot of people are skeptical about crypto. I know a lot of people are saying that they've had enough. I can pull out one comment, or I could pull you out 100 comments here in the last couple of days from different people saying that they just lost interest, they lost trust, or they just lost, that feeling that XRP is going to be anything special. With the hacks of recent days, they're saying that this is just another indication that this is a whole bunch of bullshit and yada, yada, yada. I've heard it all. I can tell you, these are the times when you got to stay more diligent because this is the time when most people will turn right instead of staying on the straight and narrow, or they'll go left, they'll follow the crowd and just say, you know what? It's not worth my time. But when it gets to $2, all of a sudden they'll be, salivating, saying, oh my God, this thing can get up to 1,000. If that's the case, why not just buy it when it's cheaper so that you can cut your losses, if it doesn't go that high, so you don't have to have it to a $10 just to make a few bucks. Nobody wants to buy it at 5, 7, 10 if it gets there or when it gets there. But I certainly don't even want to buy it at $1.50, $1.75. That's not where I want to buy it. 75 cents. That's why I bought it where I did, and I'm going to plan accordingly. So, but I think we're in a very special spot here as a community if we just keep our eyes focused. Holy smokes. Let me get on my phone real quick just so that I don't usually go on my phone during my lives, but seeing that there's more comments than there's been just to start in a while, let me do the due diligence, and then I'm going to shut my phone off and we'll get back into real time. But I know there's a lot to take in, and we'll start with the charts. We'll start with the charts, but we're also going to go over this. Not ChatGPT. We're going to go over this. And we'll read through that, and that was a very in-depth little breakdown of it. So let me get through this very quickly. Luke, welcome in. Yo, TA, or Tom's on me. What's good? Appreciate everything you do. Cheers. Hey, welcome in, Luke. I appreciate being here. Crypto Roger, welcome in. So I'll gladly pay you 500 XRP hamburgers next Thursday for 250 XRP hamburgers today. I guess that's a good way to do it. Considering we don't know what wallet was hacked, I'm not sure I want to stake my XRP anytime soon. see. I mean, go ask them what wallet it was. I mean, if you got a local connection, you can ask them, but I don't. I'm just reading through the stuff that you're reading through. JW, good evening. Looking forward to that deep tissue massage. Oh, yep. David Nitzko, welcome in. UK Phil, good evening. Matt Holden, Mario, Michael, Mo, welcome in. I appreciate you tuning in. I thought the AMM was passing on February 14th. That's what I thought. That's why I thought this was interesting. That's why it kind of caught me off guard when I started reading these stories. Okay. Coppervine, welcome in. Trading with J-Ride, good evening. The Gatman, Kevin, Gary, welcome. I will sell you as many as you want for 1,000 each. This is a fake out, Gary Steely. Hey, we're going to take account in all of this. So now we're caught up. Good evening. Good evening. I love, what was that? I love something. Might have even said I love you. So XRP, very quickly, we had a close at 5057. So a pretty good close today. Pretty good close. Considering that we bounce off of the descending triangle support that we've talked about it for, I don't know, since it became apparent that this is what was going on. It's been a while in the descending triangle. I think it started early January. Yeah, so it's been about a month. But what we're looking at here, and I'm looking for an area of how does it get down here, ladies and gentlemen? What do we need to do to get down here to touch this rising channel support? And to me, what better way, and we can speculate more, than we form this descending triangle, and we have a resistance 1, support 1, resistance 2, support 2, background to support 3. What better way than to gain some steam and come up here to support 3? That's right around 57 cents. And then if it is bearish, it can come through here, reject, and then come down. What better way than to determine the pattern? Or if it's bullish, come around, third hit, we break out, then we swing up. Then we would know that maybe we could make a run to the top of the rising channel. So what I'm looking at is we need to confirm this pattern. It looks very clear that we're in a descending triangle to me. But a third hit is where it's going to really tell you if it's bullish or bearish. So even if it's bearish, would you be surprised if it pulls this W reversal just to get rejected up there? Because it really does look like something could be developing here if it pulls up. And then even if it's bearish, you could have just a breakthrough. Or if it's really the start of a reversal, you might be able to pull through. Even when you come through like this, that's kind of, it's forming that descending triangle. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. The hourly, as far as in the relative strength regards to the index, and the daily, it was in the oversold. Even in a daily perspective. So we closed out the daily candle. So now let's take a look. This is when it gets fun. So now we've come just outside of oversold. But if it goes to 534 and gets rejected, that's your first area of resistance where you really need to pay attention. I need to pay attention because if that gets rejected there, that's going to be the big, well, you know what? We went up 7-8% like we talked about yesterday from the floor, and then it just gets rejected instead of going up 16%. That is not out of the realm of possibilities. You know, maybe I should turn a light on so everybody can see me. That might be okay. Nah, you know what? I kind of like this mysterious look, to be honest. It's who the hell is this guy? But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing here. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Do you think we'll get a fake out here? Or do you think we just get a rejection at 534? Do you think the rally's over? Because there's a lot of room here to bounce up. Looks like a little bull flag's forming here. I'm just saying, I'm trying to point out the obvious of what I'm seeing. Definitely looks like a W could be in the formation here, possibly. We'll see because it's still got to pull up. But it really looks like something's brewing here. So I would not be surprised, like I said, if it goes to 57 cents, then finds its way back down to 44 cents, if that's in fact what it wants to do. You know, if we're looking to go to that lower level. However, it could find its way to break out of this formation, and then we could start targeting higher areas. And the first real target would be that rising channel resistance. So that's what I'm paying attention to right now. Very close attention to right now, in fact, to see how that plays out. One that I told you I'd keep you updated was with Casper. And I'll keep my word on that. Casper, like I said, I think it's coming to at least the top of the rising channel. It ducked down here. And now I think it could even come up higher. Like when I'm looking at this comparatively, it's got a lot of room to run in the smaller time frames, but look at the daily. Even after today, it's still in oversold. There's some room here. And it had such an overzealous sell down that I would almost be surprised if somehow it doesn't find its way up here around that 3.9 level and test that death cross in the making, which will be more than in the making after tomorrow. But some way, I would not be surprised if this starts to break up here a little bit. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And like when I start to look at this, I'm going to take the whole pattern now. I'm going to take a lot of this out because I actually want to do a little more due diligence here. I'm going to take out these short-term patterns and I want to see exactly what's going on since it started this uptrend, because we have a honest way of looking at this right now where we don't have to guess. It's already filled out all the technical targets. But if we actually look at this, it's actually pretty interesting how this formed in the daily. So if we start here and we just say, okay, well, this is the kind of trend we're going. Look how we beautifully, I mean, almost perfectly. Let me go back in time for just a second. But it almost is just telling us, like, when you actually look at this, the way it pulled up now, this is pretty interesting. To me, it is. I mean, maybe not to everybody else, but if you look at it from this regard, that's not exactly how I want it. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it. Because I really think you have to run it through something like that. Because then we touch both sides of the W. I think that's how I would do it. It could leave you on the bad side of this, on the bottom side, if it has to come down a little bit. But I think that's a pretty accurate way to do it. And then, I mean, I kind of am seeing this. In my own head, I'm seeing this, which tells me there's room for it to come up. And in a daily, it's way oversold. For just from a daily perspective, oh shit, it's got ways to go. And it's like if I start breaking down all the charts like this, and there's a reason we've been watching Casper and we've been talking about it, it's just so overbeaten. It got beaten down so much that I don't know. Something speaks to me like, hey, Tom, you know, you always talk about that there's opportunities outside XRP, and sometimes you got to find them. Well, imagine this. Imagine if this has to break up and you got something like a 25% run to the top and it's going to like 4.3. There's no way of guaranteeing that or even to say that that's even possible, except to say, how do we find out the layers here? Well, that's a pretty good setup right there. Well, now if you want to break it into the smaller sense, well, we can do that too. I can do that. We've got a few tricks up our sleeve here. So there's your first area of resistance. So maybe we don't get all the way up there. So now we're looking at the first resistance. So now you're looking at it maybe coming up to 371. Well, that is an obvious area of interest for us because we've been talking about this area for a while. So maybe it just comes up 6%. So what I'm saying here is you see how this is showing a potential 6% gain here, and XRP was showing a potential 8 to 16%, and this is showing a 6 to 25 or 24. There's a reason why we're seeing this. No indicator is going to tell us this. But we're seeing some kind of trend here that needs to be either rejected or confirmed to the downside. We either need to see, are we going to get confirmation to the downside, or are we going to get a firm rejection at the top side to tell us we're bearish, or do we break through this and say, hey, we got to go up a little higher? All of these are set up the same way, and I think anybody who's watching and doing anything with Casper can appreciate what I just did. Any of the futures traders out there, I know you appreciate that because I just did your work for you. And then if you are a real futures trader and you're like, holy crap, Tom, that's great, but what happens in the immediate short term? Well, we can do that too, ladies and gentlemen. And why do you do that? Remember we went from the daily for the wider, 4 hourly for the midterm. Now we go into the 2 hourly for the short term. I don't care about the 30-minute. It's not long enough. So now, Tom, what the hell? What's going on here now? Now you got 3 resistance. What? This is your setup. You either want to take it from short, medium, or long. This is how you got to get there. First resistance that we're going to come up to is right here at 356. That's going to be the first brick wall. You get above that and you can hold that support. Your next brick wall. You get above that is when you can come to the biggest cement wall. So, I mean, that's how we do technical analysis. I've just shown you how you can do this yourself. I mean, obviously you need to understand what I just did, and if you watch for long enough, you will. So, what do we think? What do we think? That makes sense, Matt. That makes sense. Thank you, Matt. There's a 2-week waiting period for the AMM. Okay, that makes sense. So that makes sense. That's how we get to the 16th. Okay, I was curious about that myself. So does that make sense to everybody with Casper? And then we got to move on. Yes, indeed, learning experience indeed, JW. And, it's nice and snowy behind me. I was getting sick of the fireplace. I'm starting to like these kind of setups now. What do you think? I like random stuff. It's wintertime. Maybe I should put that in the screen, so you can actually see the lamp. I don't know. Or would you rather see the other side? Would you rather see the other side where you can get like the little fireplace? I don't even know. You can't really see the fireplace, can you? No, you can't. That's okay. I'll just move you back over to where it looks comfy, cozy. There you got the lamp in the background. How nice. But yeah, so that's Casper. And please make sure to hit the like button if you're watching. It does help. It helps so much. It helps so much more than you could ever imagine. And with XRP, we can do the same thing, but it's just that 534 ends up being that same mid-tier or the shorter tier. Now, if we get outside of that, it's the same thing as with Casper. You've got the short, mid, the long. The short is 534. The mid, you could even say is 57, but it's not. That should technically be the short, even though we have a pivot point. The reason I say that is we've got some resistance that we got to deal with now. But if we can get through that, then we've got, I guess you could say the mid, because this would be the long. So the long tier would be 78 cents. Yeah, I can live with that. The mid tier would be around 66 cents. And then the short range model would be 5, 6, 7, 57 cents. Or the first brick wall out of, so you've got 3 major resistance before you can even try to attempt to come up to the all-time resistance at 77 or whatever cents it's going to be by the time we get there. First resistance is 534. That's going to be your first hammer in the wall. Like, you're going to have to bash through that. You get through that, then you got a bigger resistance forming, which is this descending triangle that started at the beginning of January. That's going to be a little harder. It's going to be a little harder. There's going to be some support behind that. So you're going to have a little more support to get through. A little more topside heaviness. Well, If you break past that, then you've got a major resistance, which has held since June of 2022, and that's the rising channel resistance, which puts you around 66 cents. If somehow, some way you get past that, now we run into the problem. Now you come back to the resistance, and I want to have this problem, that is up around, at this time, would still be about 79 cents. That resistance has held up since January of 2018. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So we've got a long ways to go, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to go. But we can get there. We can get there. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I am so interested to see how this plays out. I'll be honest. So now let's look at this news. Let's look at this news, whether good or bad. 70 people here. I think we can do better than 51 likes. I think just the information I've given out on the charts is better than anything else you'll watch all day. Not that I'm tooting my own horn, but I just think it's that good. So, and it's for free, so that's the best way to get it. XRP holders can now earn passive income as AMM amendment finally passes. This has been going on for some time. We've talked about the XLS30 amendment. It's been a while since I talked about it just because it was dragging on. But the XLS30 amendment looking to introduce an automated market maker, AMM, to the XRP ledger, XRPL has finally passed, giving XRP holders an opportunity to earn passive income. Yet a prominent XRP community figure and operator of the done-out validator of the same name first called attention to the pivotal development in on a post on X. He expressed excitement over the imminent arrival of the automated market maker on the XRP ledger. Data from the XRPL Explores XRP scan reveals that the amendment has received 85.71% consensus as of press time, having attracted yes votes from 30 out of the 35 done-out validators. Prominent validators such as Ripple, BitHump, Alloy Networks, BitTrue have shown support. It bears mentioning that the XRP ledger mandates each amendment introduced to the ecosystem to receive 80% of validator consensus for 2 weeks before implementation. With the current number of done-out validators sitting at 35, 80% translate to 28 yes votes. After attaining the consensus threshold, the XLS amendment will be implemented on the mainnet on February 14th, 2 weeks from now. Expectedly, some members of the XRP community have begun making allusions of the significance of this day being Valentine's Day. So what are they saying? They're going to break our heart and snap our necks on Valentine's Day? Is that what I'm hearing? So maybe a rally until then. Maybe this is our, this could be our, our way to move to 57 possibly. This could be our catalyst. I was trying to figure out how they could push it. This very well could be. It could be Heartbreak Hotel come February 14th. They don't call it a Hallmark holiday for no reason. Recall that community previously lamented the perceived delay in the voting process of the AMM amendment. However, some validators dismissed the growing concerns, emphasizing that all amendments take a similar governance timeline, while some validators, such as Ripple, quickly voted yes to the proposal. Others showed some restraints, demanding some extra time to ensure the AMM feature would not pose any risk, which I'm all for this 2-week waiting period. The hell with what Ripple's saying. Some of the concerns include front-running and market manipulation risk. The validators operated by XRPL Labs, the team behind Examine, I think that's it, formerly Zoom, X-Spectre, a multiverse and NFT project, and XRPL Explorer XRP Scan were some of the ones showing restraint. As previously reported by the Crypto Basic, Wheats Win, founder of the XRPL Labs, and Dirk Schneps, founder of X-Spectre, confirmed that they would install the latest XRPL version, Ripple 2.0.1, and monitor the performance to evaluate if it was safe to vote yes to the XLS-30D amendment. The team behind XRP Scan also confirmed that they would be voting for the amendment. All 3 validators have now voted in favor of the proposal, resulting in the consensus milestone. Note that as of January 24th, only 21% had voted yes with 60% consensus, and we know you have to have 80%, which it's now been achieved because 30 have voted yes as of today. Following the implementation of the AMM feature, XRP holders will get an opportunity to earn passive. So this is the important part. So if you want to call it that, this is the money shot of the article if you're an XRP holder. Yes, all the rest is great, but if you're an XRP holder, XRP holders will get an opportunity to earn passive income on the XRP ledger by serving as liquidity providers for some AMM instances. However, it bears mentioning that being a liquidity provider also carries its inherent risk. So, I mean, do you really want to give them your XRP to earn? This is no different than essentially staking. You're loaning it to them for basically a promise with some risk that you're going to get A amount put in and you'll get B amount as the return. If you ask me, I don't know, it carries an inherent risk. I'm not one to stake. And I'll have to do some further analysis on this one to even see if it would be worth my time. I do hold my XRP on what was formerly Zoom. If I hold it on the XRP ledger, I'll hold it there. Otherwise, I hold it on Uphold. So it definitely gives me an option. So we'll see. But that's what I've seen so far about this. Now, we could look into it a little bit deeper. And then there was also another thing that I wanted to look into. Was this. Because I know a lot of people are talking about the hack. So I had 2 things pulled up. This was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Everybody talks about the hack. So I told everybody I wanted to take a day so that I could see the real news. So this was one that came out yesterday. After, it had been going on for a little bit now. So Ripple was not hacked for 112 million XRP, but its co-founder was. So I also want to know what everybody thinks. Like, is this some kind of ploy? Do you really think it was hacked? Do you really think the co-founder, Chris Larson, was actually hacked? Or do you think there's something more to this? Like, I like to look at the conspiracy side. An on-chain detective has flagged odd XRP outflows worth 112 million from address linked to Ripple Labs. Zax XBT, in a post on X Wednesday, said that Ripple seemed to have been hacked for 213 million XRP. However, Ripple co-founder Chris Larson responded that his Ripple accounts had been compromised, not Ripple itself. So, I mean, this to me already doesn't seem right. Like, how is his account getting hacked? So, essentially, if it's his account, it's Ripple itself. Wouldn't it be Ripple itself getting attacked? Like, I don't know. There's something more to this. That's why I told everybody I'd wait 24 hours so that my personal, my personal feelings wouldn't cloud what I was seeing. But to me, it just doesn't. Everything I've read just doesn't seem right. And then I finally got the response where I was willing to at least read this one because it shows what he said, Chris Larson's. And at the time, I didn't have that information when everybody wanted it. I didn't know all of the ins and outs here. But finally, now we have word yesterday from what Chris Larson said. But I'll read through this. So, Larson said there had been unauthorized access to a few of my personal XRP accounts. We were quickly able to catch the problem and notify exchanges to freeze the affected addresses. Law enforcement is already involved, he added. So here's what Chris Larson said. You basically heard it, but he said yesterday there was unauthorized access to a few of my personal XRP accounts, not at Ripple. We were quickly able to catch the problem and notify exchanges to freeze the affected addresses. Law enforcement is already involved. So, there's your chain of command right there, basically. I don't know, though. So, it appears Ripple was hacked, and this is what the reports were before Chris, that's what everybody was saying. And then Christian A. Larson's had to come out and say, it wasn't Ripple, it was mine. So, the timestamps for the transaction stand out, however, as they took place on Tuesday, ranging from early on in the day to late Tuesday night. That's why I didn't want to respond on Tuesday. I gave it time. I said I'm aware of it, but I'm not talking about it until I feel comfortable in exactly the information I've been going through. I don't like to pass bull hockey or FUD. Ripple Labs or Larson had not publicly disclosed the attack until Zach XBT's post on social media. The sheer numbers of transactions to exchange in a short amount of time or short time span should tell you enough. Zach XBT said in a follow-up post, Ripple team is not going to use a small instant exchange like fixed float in size. Following the post on X, XRP fell over 5%. It has since bounced back as of its publication. So listen, ironic, right, that would happen at a time when XRP, as I stated myself, desperately needed the liquidity to do what? If we wanted to go to 57 cents from 534, we needed to get rejected. We had to touch the descending triangle. It is convenient indeed that timing was there because from a technical standpoint, you would have been told to short from 534 rejection down to the descending support at 494. So anybody technically trading would know to do that if they're doing a technical indicator. So isn't it convenient that this is the times that they say it gets hacked, but it would be the perfect time to sell and then rebuy back themselves? Even if they wanted to think about it. They said, what was it, 213 million? How many XRP was it? Let's just do some quick math here. 112 million XRP. So let's for the hell of it, let's do some math. 112 million times, wait a minute. Yeah, times 0.57. That's $63.8 million it cost. Oh my God, we got hacked. So they made $63.8 million when they sold it. So they got hacked. All of a sudden, by some miracle, they get it back, right? They sell it at 57. They got $63.8 million. Nobody knows where it's at. But then all of a sudden, it all gets bought back. So it seems like a scam to me. So there's $63.8 million. Now they sell it. They get $63 million. All of a sudden, somehow, some way, they find it, right? They find it back. Well, to their good fortune, XRP's at, let's just say 494. You see that? 57 cents, 63.8 million they sell it or it gets hacked for, which is what they're entitled to. And now they got to buy it back with their, obviously their insurance claim. They're going to not get screwed. They're insured for all this, I'm sure. So their 63.8 million is going to be returned. But now when they use to buy the same amount back, right? That's 63 million. What was it? You get 63 million XRP, 63.8 for it costs right there. So now to buy back $112 million worth of XRP at 47, I mean, you see the picture. Oh, 213 million XRP. There we go. That's even better. All right. Thank you for that. I'm so excited. I missed. All right. So 213 million times 0.57. Oh, 0.57. So that's $121 million. $127 million. Tanya, welcome in, love. I'm so glad to see you back in here as well. Yeah, there was a lot discussed here in this live, I can assure you. So that's 121.4 million when it got hacked. Now imagine they get it back and they're like, all right, we got to buy this back. We were hacked. Now it went down to 0.494. So it's 105 million. They were able to pocket, what is that? This is interesting. Think about it. 121 million. You can quickly buy it back for 105. So they pocketed 16 million. That's some easy funds right there. Think about it. Just think about that. And look, 105,222,000. We must be on to something. But no, I'm just saying there's something that doesn't seem right here. We knew it needed the liquidity to finish this move to the top of this descending triangle, that it didn't have the power to get up there from 534. So we called for this. We said this is what has to happen for us to have the most opportune bounce. Well, now it turns out that hacks and all this, there's always stuff going on behind the scenes. And isn't it convenient that the hack just so happened to be to cover up the news of the AMM proposal being passed? So, I mean, it's just ironic timing that would happen at the exact same time that we hear about this, the AMM amendment. Finally had enough votes to pass with the validators of having 30 or 80 something percent, because now it's guaranteed over 80%. I mean, this happens. Isn't it convenient how it's so red, so negative for XRP right now? But yet behind the scenes, some of the bigger, it is rigged. You're damn right it's rigged. It's just like I say with the sporting events now, it's all about the scripts and rigs, just like in crypto. We got to see the scripts and rigs and make a decision from there. That's my new thing, scripts and rigs. It's going to be my new line. I'm going to make a shirt that says script and rigs, XRP. You know, something. Because it is. It's all about the scripts. And then it's rigged to the scripts. I mean, it's our scripts control the AI trading bots. I mean, it's I don't know how else to explain it, because if you ask me, the biggest manipulation I see in crypto or in the stock market or anything as a whole, how is it possible that every single different crypto will have the exact same drop at the exact same? So that means that everybody holding XRP, everybody holding Doge, the people holding Bitcoin, anybody holding, you know, HBAR, Casper, VeChain, Solo, Corium, anything you can think of, Algo, you know, Shiba, IOTA, anything, Ethereum. You're telling me that all of them fall at the same time? I don't know, but like JW says, take it easy, because if I say too much, you won't see me anymore in the air. They'll just ban my channel. But I mean, that's all. I mean, just think about that. Isn't it too easy that we can just start putting these numbers out here and it just hits them? Something's going on here. And isn't it also a perspective that I've shared many times with everybody, that even if you think you've got the grasp on the short or the long, they oftentimes will pull one more kick in the old Groteskies, my friends. Why is there? I think you answered your own question, my friend. He said, well, I am trying to understand why there's increased FUD about XRP with the bull run around the corner. That's what YM said. I think you answered your own question. You don't want all those people in here. It's like, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. You are not part of the plan. I am not part of the plan. And that's not just XRP. You are not part of the elite. You're not part of the big spenders. Some people in my audience actually are, surprisingly. Or not surprisingly, but I'm saying at that level. But there are some that hold hundreds of millions of XRP. And, or other things worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But for the others like me and you, they don't want you in here making that kind of exponential wealth. Last thing that anybody wants outside of you, from a control standpoint, is for you to be financially secure. They want you to, yes, exactly. They want you to buy it when it, think about it. They don't want you to buy it at 50 cents, but they'll tell you it's good to buy at $3. I guarantee you right now, XRP is at 50 cents, we'll say. I guarantee you, even though they're telling you it's shit now, wait till it gets to $1.20. Everybody will tell you how great it is, but why weren't they telling you to buy it 1.5 times cheaper? Why was everybody telling you that I was an idiot for advising my audience to buy it at 34 cents on the buyback? We all were here, my audience. You've seen all the slack I took. You know, if we were willing to buy at $1.66, which I wasn't, that's my selling point. After buying at 47, I sold at $1.66. Very common knowledge if you've watched my show. Why are those same people that were harassing you about not buying it at $1.66 now afraid to buy it at 50 cents? That's the thing. Like, all these people that were so, you got to buy it now. It's never going under $1. How? I don't understand what happened. I do. Ooh, but I see something very nice. Ooh, so very nice in that. Ooh, so very juicy in the RSI here. Oh my. Oh my. If you want to talk about some good news here, that's a falling channel, folks. That's a bullish reversal when it gets to the bottom. That's a bullish reversal when it gets to the bottom, and this is the daily. This is spicy meatball. Look, I mean, you could go all the way up here. Resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, and it's tightening. Eventually, this is a bullish reversal. So what I'm saying is boom, and then we can decide. We'll see how it goes from there. I really think we're going to have an impulse move here. If we break down to 44, I'll jump off the cliff and be happy. I'll have a parachute. Not in a bad way. I'm going to jump off the cliff in a good way. I'll pull the parachute because then if it does something like this, then you're slingshotting. Just like this, if it goes and then it dumped, you're going to have a huge move. This will be nice. This would be excellent. Oh, excellent. I'm just saying. Oh, if we get a 2018 repeat, we're all rich. We're all rich beyond what you could even imagine. I don't think you'll get a 2018 bounce just seeing how much it went up. But what's wrong with seeing a bounce? Just think about it for some of you who bought at 35, 40, 50 cents. Think about a bounce from 50 cents to $3. I mean, I'm just saying. Imagine you bought XRP for $3,500 and now all of a sudden it's worth, 30 grand. That'll make you look differently at your piece of paper in the morning. Or what happens when it makes that move from $3 and then all of a sudden, instead of it being a 100% move for somebody who bought it at, this is the thing. The reason why I'm so welcoming and buying it at 35 cents, if I didn't own it, I'm not saying that I wouldn't buy it right now because I would have the 20% down approach. I'm going to buy some here every 20% down. I'll buy it, and hopefully I bought it low enough to where I won't run out of money by the time we go 100% down. That's my philosophy. I'll buy more if it goes under 34.6, but it's got to be 20% more unders because I have a philosophy. Sure, it's going to cost me a lot more money, but you know what? You got to have 5 equal buys to equal your original buy-in at the end of it if it does come down 100%. So if you spend $3,500 at 346, I have to understand that it's going to cost me some money if it goes 20% under. I'm going to have 3 equal buys, and I've done this enough to understand the implications. I'd have to have $700 every 20% down. I understand what I'm doing. It's a pain in the ass when you get in that position, but that's why I have to buy it at certain spots. That's it. You determine when to sell. I mean, if you're buying it at these levels, if it's cents, it doesn't make any sense to sell it unless you're a swing trader. Unless there's a reason for that money, or if you're just not confident in the longer period of this for the formation or the pattern. I always tell people you have to make up your mind, especially if you're just a swing trader, at 1x. If you're not anything more than a swing trader, once it gets to 1x, you got to decide, because at 1x, you could very easily say, you know what, I'm willing to ride this, but I'm going to take 50% out and take my money back. Because then you have no stake in the game. And then you take all of your money back. And then if it goes down again, who's to say it goes back down that 50%? Now you only have to use 50% of your gains. And now you could use that 50% and reason. Now, if it goes up, obviously you have to be comfortable in the fact you took the gains. For me, I'm waiting for the whole system to flip into where XRP is not being used as a crypto, but I can use it in my everyday life. Oh, I have to go get gas. Well, I'm just going to go use my XRP. It's a way of money. It's a way of payment. That's what I'm looking forward to. And it's already starting to be implemented. Oh, I have used it before. Julie knows. I've used it more than once. More than once. So I'm waiting for that day to come though, to where I can make my house. Well, I don't have a house payment; it's paid off. But make my electricity payment. You know, make my consumer. You know, my gas, something like that. But yeah, we all as a whole need to do more research on AMM. We do. So we could do that together here a little bit. But hold on one sec. I got to get another thing of water. I want to share one thing, and I know there's 90 people here, which I'm blessed to see everybody here tonight. But I want to share something I found interesting that your old pal Peter Schiff said. And as I get my water, I think this would be a good time to play this. But he said something interesting. About the rate cuts. I saved it at a spot where I thought was the most interesting, but I was trying to find a way to do this. But anyhow, please make sure to hit the like button though as well. And if you're interested in Peter Schiff, he definitely deserves more followers. He's got 572,000, I think that says. Now I've been following him since like 70,000, so he's come a long way since I started following him on YouTube. A long way. I mean, a long way. Might have even been less than 70. So anyhow,
is Biden going to talk about that? Because they're not unrelated. In fact, UPS specifically cited.
Oh, this is it. This is it. So with the rise in pricing, like the rise in cost for your workers, how they're trying to raise everybody's pay no matter what your job. This is the direct correlation. So take out UPS or FedEx or any of these kind of places and insert your own job, and think of if you have to pay a higher minimum wage than is due, this is what's going to happen across the board. Just listen to this.
Employment rate today to the unemployment rate 50 years ago. Well, we're not measuring them the same way. So many people that were counted as unemployed 50 years ago are not counted as unemployed now, even though they're unemployed. But it's cherry picking this data. The data that is highly manipulated and ignoring all the anecdotal evidence. I mean, look at all the layoffs. I mean, how many companies? It was a big news story, UPS, right? It was just a few months ago. UPS announced like these big wage hikes. The unions had really, pushed them and backed them into a corner and got UPS, the Teamsters, were able to get these huge pay raises for their members. And I talked about it because it just came out, massive layoffs. I forget what percentage it was, maybe around 15% of the workforce is going to be laid off. So they're not going to get these rosy compensation packages because they're going to get a pink slip. They're going to get fired. Is Biden going to, talk about that? Because they're not unrelated. In fact, UPS specifically cited high labor costs as the main reason for the layoffs.
So basically what they're saying is it's not worth their money to buy our labor. That's a dangerous spot. That means artificial intelligence. Hello, wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. The IoT, the Internet of Things, that's what's going to push this whole next generation. So higher wages equals 9 out of 10 of us probably lose that job to a robot, or even if not, you're losing your job because it's not worth the company to buy your labor. If it's not worth the company to buy your labor, they have to look elsewhere. That's artificial intelligence. I hate to break it to everybody, but the next chapter is coming, and it's coming very freaking quickly.
Of course, this is all Econ 101, which, in order to be an economist, you have to fail Econ 101. But it's supply and demand. If the price of something goes up, the demand goes down. And so UPS workers became a lot more expensive. And therefore, UPS to buy as many of those workers.
There you go.
It became too expensive, so they got priced out of their jobs. Now, this is not the end of the layoffs, because these wage hikes are making the company less efficient, less competitive. They're going to ultimately raise prices, and that's going to eat into sales, because people are going to have to, buy less of their products because it's more expensive. And more layoffs are coming. I mean, this is why so many formerly unionized companies went out of business. Their unions drove them out of business and ended up destroying all the jobs of their members. I mean, at once upon a time, we had this huge manufacturing sector, and one of the reasons that it's gone is because of the labor unions. That's why the labor unions moved into services, because they destroyed manufacturing. But the one place the labor unions are thriving is in government.
So we won't get into politics, but basically, long story short, government shouldn't have unions. If you're a government worker, you shouldn't. You're basically pushing the hand that, what the hell? The hand that's feeding you is also scratching your own back. I mean, come on, you can't do that. But yet they did. So, there's a lot of stuff, nothing's happening. Nothing's to see here. Well, Tanya, I've been keeping my mouth shut, but I'm not doing very well. I just had to sit through Jerome Powell yesterday, and my head still hasn't come back through the wall. That's how Bob's doing. He's stuck in the wall because of Jerome. That was brutal yesterday, honestly. To me, it was brutal. Very brutal. But with XRP, honestly, what I'm looking at here, well, I still have everybody's attention. I don't even know how long we've dragged. 47 minutes now. See, it's amazing, though. 90 people were here when I started Peter Shift. 18. I take it as a compliment that so many people leave when I stop talking. But, man, the information that 18 people passed up on simply because they don't like Peter Shift, or because I'm not talking. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to be had. And I think sometimes we can't even see if it slaps us in the face. So anyhow, in conclusion here tonight, oh, I'm sure they do too, Mev. I'm sure they do. I want to see XRP bounce off and now work what looks like a W could be started. I want to see it now come up to this resistance and see how we're going to react. We're surely in a much oversold area for the daily to where we have the ability to do that. My number one thing I would want to happen, which I just don't think they're going to do, I would like them to drop it to 44 cents, as I stated before, because it would give us a rebound effect, because it would be massively oversold. If we came down here, you'd have a rebound up into here more than likely. Right now, if we bounce, it's probably going to be something like this if we do that. So that's what I'm looking at, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what I'm looking at. While you're here, make sure you hit that like button and share this. If you're looking to trade XRP or your favorite crypto, it's in the video description below. The exchanges I use, so you don't have to pay the absorbent spot fees or leverage fees. And then there's also a way, if you want to join Tom's Army, to pay it forward. You can join Tom's Army, send a YouTube super chat, or yada, yada, yada. But other than that, the only other thing I wanted to really look at was H-bar real quick. We've already looked at Casper, which is now at 3524. And we know we're retargeted there. But with H-bar, it's at 7 cents, down 0.15%. It's on the support, and isn't it, like I said, it's ironic that everything finds the same levels at the same time. And if you're just paying attention to enough charts, you just see it's like it's impossible for all of this to happen unless it's all manipulated. If I had 100 people in the room, there's no way all 100 people would all have the exact same idea at the exact same time. So if I hold 100 different cryptos, there's no way at all 100 cryptos are all having the same dump at the same time. It's not possible. Some of them would have the ability to move up in that time period. Not all of them. It just doesn't make any sense. So the only thing that makes sense is there's trading bots, and it makes it a lot easier to trade or to understand the accumulation phase. So with H-bar, if we're looking at this, if we hold the rising channel, the odds are we come all the way back up to 8.6. Now, there are a few points in between, as we know, but if we hold this support, we've got layers here. We would have multiple layers. Like, you'd have to go into the 4 hourly, then you'd have to come into the 2 hourly. Mainly, first area would be right around that 7.4. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a return rally here. Even if it gets rejected, it's coming up. All of these look like they're coming up. So all this red we've seen at 7 looks like it's going to be a magnificent green here for the next 24, possibly. So, but just pay attention though. If we break down one more layer real quick with the XRP and what I was showing you, that would be way better. If you break down one more layer, you're going to dump out so much that you're going to have no choice but to have an explosion out the top. I'm all for that. That makes an easy leverage trade if that happens. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I love those kind. Casper's making it relatively easy for me too, but, you know, on a 4x leverage, it's not very difficult. Other than that, though, Bitcoin, 43,500 that's the line in the sand right now. That's your pivot level. But it doesn't look like it wants to stop there. I mean, it almost looks like we cleared out enough just to come to the next level. To me, Bitcoin, it could do this for weeks. It could theoretically do this for a while. And Bitcoin, it looks like to me, is trying to weasel its way back up to 44,000, which was the old bull flag resistance. Just because it broke down into a broadening wedge doesn't mean it can't still be in a bull flag. It can't play through it. It's in that level now, so now you have to take those levels into consideration. Even though it exposed itself at a broadening wedge, as we've seen, and some people would say it's a farther down, I disagree because I think that's just trying to adapt it to something that probably doesn't make it as honest as it should be, because I think this is more of a horizontal support. So I don't think you can just connect the bottom supports and just say, oh, call it a day. I think this is how it was intended, the pattern. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I thank everybody for tuning in. I've had a blast tonight. 52 minutes. I thank everybody. Have a good evening, everybody. Tom, you need your own stickers or whatever you call them. Oh, my own emoji. Ooh, that would be nice. That would be nice. I do. For the ones who are going to be 3 years in Tom's Army, I do have to make a new badge that I'm ready for. But I think 2 or 3 months away right now. So, anyhow, everybody, good night. I'm going to go check on the family. Stay blessed. And I'll see you back tomorrow night at roughly 6:30 p.m. Eastern.